Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cantina Social Hour. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing very, very well. Thank you all for being here very much. Grateful to be here this evening with everybody that's hanging out with us. Well, we have a good time while raising money for an important cause. So I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. I see some conversation going on. Awesome. Love to see it, you guys. Thank you for being with us tonight. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to be going on. So today's Cantina Social Hour is a special edition, and it actually will be the last episode for a few weeks because I will be out of town. But September is Thyroid Cancer Awareness Month, and I thought it was a great time to hold a fundraiser in honor of that. In addition, thyroid cancer is something that affects children. So our whole goal tonight is to raise funds for pediatric thyroid cancer research. I have an organization I will be showing you just a little bit here that we will be donating any funds to. So tonight, anything that we raise, super chats, proceeds from the live stream, and then merch from the Teespring merchandise store, 100% of all that's going to be donated for this cause. So as you may know, if you follow me on social media, I actually had thyroid cancer last year into early this year. So it is something that has affected me personally. And it's quite a process to deal with it. Thankfully, in most cases, thyroid cancer is treatable, but it has to be caught early. The thing with thyroid cancer is that it's something that doesn't usually present until symptoms begin to occur. Even though you may have it for years and may not be aware of it until symptoms start to occur. The way that it happened with me is that I kind of had like a lump here in my neck. And I had doctors and they would do blood work and they would do tests. And they would often find that, in their opinion, it was just fatty tissue or, the thyroid levels. Blood work came back normal. So it was just, okay, business as usual. But eventually I got another doctor a couple years later who was a little more proactive. And she actually, had me do the ultrasound, had me do the biopsy, had me do the barium swallow, had me do all that stuff. And it ended up being stage 2 papillary thyroid cancer. Thankfully, even though I had it at that point for years, it was still within that time frame where it can be treated. So thankfully, I had a very great surgeon here in San Diego area who's done more of these than anybody in town. And whole doctor, everybody there was the whole staff was amazing. And recovery wasn't the best because you can't talk, you can't. It hurts so bad to cough or to sneeze or to even to move your head a little bit. And you got this big thing on your neck oozing out blood, and it's not pretty. I'll spare you any more details, but it is a recovering process. So then, after a week, I went and had the stitches out, and then I had to take a couple more weeks off work to continue with the healing process. So now I just have a little scar right there from where that was taken out. So, it is treatable, but the important thing is during your annual routine exam to have that analyzed by your doctor, have them take a look, because oftentimes it does get overlooked. And it doesn't get caught till later. Okay, so really, really important during your annual screenings that you ask your doctor to check you for any lumps that may be in the thyroid area. And if there's anything, well, it may be something that's very treatable. So definitely worth getting looked at. So please make sure that you're doing that. Please, please, please. So what we're going to do tonight, as we do this, like I said, super chats, proceeds from the stream, merch from the spring store, 100% of that's going to research for pediatric thyroid cancer, which unfortunately is something that does affect children as well. And it affects them in a very different way than it affects adults, as does any kind of cancer. You don't expect that to happen with children, but it does happen. So we want to make sure that, we're researching it, we're looking into it, and we're trying to find ways to take care of the kids because we don't want anybody to be affected by that, much less children. So let me tell you another thing you can do here. So in addition to the methods that I described, you can also, and I have a link here, down here in the description, you can go to the ThyCAD donation, thyroid cancer donation. This is their the Survivors Association, and this company does more funding and they put more research into this than any other company that I've come across. And they actually have a center where they do treat children with thyroid cancer, people with thyroid cancer. So it's a really good place to donate to. So if you didn't want to do it through YouTube or through the merch store, well then please 100%. You can donate directly to thycad.com, and we do have a link down in the description below. So I mentioned that the spring store is available, and so what I want to show you here is some of the new designs. In honor of this, I wanted to make sure that the spring store had new designs in it, that we had some new stuff to look at. As far as the VC brand and anything around that. So I made some fun new designs. Definitely check them out. There's a link to the spring store in the description, but let me give you a preview of what you can find, as well as other things in the spring store right here. Cool. So those designs and more are available in the Teespring store, link down below if you want to check it out. And again, 100% of whatever you spend through the September 30th, not just today, through September 30th, will be donated in full to thycad.com. In addition to that, what we're going to be doing tonight, now that that's out of the way, we'll touch back on it every now and then, but I am joined by 6 mystery guests. You have no idea who they are. I know exactly who they are. And they're all wonderful people. And I'm so happy to have them here in social hour tonight in the Cantina. And they will be popping in 15-minute intervals to hang out with us, to talk, to react to Hasbro PulseCon reveals from today, and to talk about Ahsoka Episode 6, to talk about Star Wars, toy news, whatever it is we want to talk about, we'll talk about. I also have this nice big box that Hasbro was generous enough to send over to the Cantina, and we'll be unboxing that together in just a little bit. So we'll be doing that as well. So before I bring on my first guest, I want to take a look here into the chat, see what's going on. Britt, thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate your comment. And thank you very much for sending that our way. Kayla, thank you so much. We appreciate that very much. Thank you so much for your donation. Very sweet. Paul, thank you as well. We appreciate your donation. And thank you for being here with us this evening. And thank you, John. We appreciate your donation as well, directly to thycad.com. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. And let's see who else is with us this evening here in the Cantina. So we have Epic King Edward in the house. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you, thank you. We have Hal Runner Base, how's it going? Thank you for being here. We got Adam in the house. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Thanks for being with us tonight. Jacob, how are you doing? Good to see you, Jacob. Mary, nice to have you with us tonight, Mary. Chelsea is with us. Hi, Chelsea, how are you doing? Thank you for being here from the Boba Fett fan club. Very cool, very cool. Alex, how's it going? Alex, how are you doing? Jason, how's it going? Thanks for being with us. Jason, I sent your package up today. You should have it early next week. So sorry for the delay in getting that out to you, but it is on its way now. Very cool. Very, very cool. Awesome, awesome group. And we got Jurassic Dave 93. All right. So it is 7:15. So I think I'm going to bring on my very first guest, and maybe we can react a little bit to Hasbro PulseCon's The Vintage Collection reveals. Is it possible that John Miko himself from the Vintage Collection Facebook group is with us? Yes, he is. How's it going, John?
Hello, how are you, Victoria? Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing good. Thank you for being here. We're going to talk about PulseCon and all those TBC reveals, and see how we feel about what was revealed and see what ideas we may have. But yeah, thanks for being here. So I guess I want to capture initially here your overall reaction to what you saw specific to TBC from today's PulseCon reveals.
Yeah. It's nice to have another PulseCon. I think it's hard for them to ever beat PulseCon from a few years back when I believe they launched the Razor Crest HasLab on that one, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, and obviously we just had the Ghost campaign, which hit a grand slam. So I was tempering my expectations that they've just done a lot the last couple months here, especially with San Diego Comic-Con, all the reveals there and the HasLab. So, but yeah, I mean, it was nice to see Krennic in all his glory. Interesting kind of rubbery plastic cape. I thought his likeness looked pretty good though. And let's see here. We got Jedi Knight Revan, right? And an HK droid.
Yeah.
And then we got Chopper and
Chopper.
Hu Yang. Am I missing anything?
I think that's all of them. I think that's all. We'll take a look here at the photos. Real quick, I want to shout out Chelsea. Thank you so much for your donation. Really, really appreciate that. Very generous. And we'll definitely be sending that to thycad.com. Greg, thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate that as well. Thank you very much for your comment. And we will be sending that as well. And Dave, thank you very much for your super chat too. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. That's how we're doing this. It's a really important cause. Very important to me personally. And we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to try and eradicate this awful disease. So thank you guys very much. All right, so I got some pictures here, John, of these TBC reveals. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of them. So right here we got Chopper, and we knew Chopper was coming, right? Because they had said when the Ghost campaign was its thing happening, that they were going to be doing Chopper and Sabine on the Rebels mural card backs. But this is Chopper based on Ahsoka on an Ahsoka card back. So I think this is rad. How did you feel when you saw this one?
Yeah. I thought it's pretty cool. I think Emily did a pretty good impression in the background there of Chopper. Got some cool accessories. He does look great. I mean, they even threw in that little tracking fob or whatever it's called too, which is pretty neat. And I think it's cool that they did the rocking head joint there.
Yes.
I think like accordion style joint there. That's really cool. I am a little bummed that his elbows and wrists don't articulate, but it seems to be a sign of the times lately with some of these droids.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that ball joint they gave him. I mean, that's going to add so much personality on the shelf displays, really.
Yeah, so I guess, we get that, and they took it away some other articulation, so all good.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm really happy with the Choppers coming.
Card back looks great.
The card looks awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Looks really, really cool. Yeah, so Chopper is really exciting. You mentioned director Krennic. So, finally, after all this time, Rogue One's, it's been how many years now? Finally getting director Krennic, main villain arguably from Rogue One. You know what? I was looking at this because you mentioned the cape a moment ago. I think that this cape, to me, And I haven't pulled it out to look at it, but I think that this is the exact cape that came on the 5POA version.
No kidding. I don't have that version, so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I personally tend to gravitate more towards plastic,
Yeah,
just because I feel like at a figure that small, 3¾ inches, like it's really hard to get soft goods to look natural. You get
yeah,
Emperor Palpatines with these really big billowy heads. You get Jedi with these big old bulky cloaks. So I mean, I kind of feel like generally for me personally, I prefer plastic, but I also don't like when it gets in the way of maximizing articulation. And things like this, things like the Lando from Solo, things like Moff Gideon, they did have the plastic cape that wasn't really always ideal.
hmm
Um, but I mean, I guess at the same time, like Tim from Boston Bounty likes to say, you don't always see some of these characters like doing jumping jacks and gymnastics.
right.
So I mean, you can kind of forgive it, I think, for like figures like this.
Yeah, yeah, very good points. Yeah, it'd be cool eventually maybe to see another version of this with his hat, his hat on when he approached Galen or so there in the beginning of the movie there. So, yeah, there's some options definitely in the future too. So, looking forward to getting him again if possible.
And this is a really easy one for them to have done, honestly. Like now that they have an Imperial officer body, now that they have, I mean, I'm still assuming it is the 5POA cloak and probably the gun that came from that figure. So all they had to really do here was the holster and the head. So not too hard really. But yeah, no, it looks good. I'm finally happy to have this character. I mean, this is one that I really love this character, and I've been wanting him for a long time in TBC. So I'm glad that we're getting him at last.
We were this close, right? What's he
We
say?
were this close. On the verge of something great.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. So we got Hu Yang, as you mentioned. We don't have a picture of Hu Yang's card back, but we get to see the figure. We get to see he comes with the backpack that has the extra arms that he spars with. He's got some, like a data pad, and he's got like one of those holographic lightsaber things, I believe. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is pretty sweet. I'm glad that we're getting this guy.
Yeah, yeah, pretty cool. Looks like he's definitely not fully paint decoed yet either. So, definitely, like they said, a very early prototype or version of him. Um, he's got elbows,
And elbows
he's
goes a
got
long way.
elbows. I think it is interesting that he has he has a swappable backpack, I think, right? With like pre-posed arms on the backpack. So those don't have elbows. So
Right.
it's just, I want everything in this line to be premium and the ultimate amount of deco and articulation. And again, it's an amazing figure. It's just I wish they would just go all out on each figure. So
Yeah, Jedi love articulation, is the
yeah,
ideal. And
yeah,
not every figure needs it, but at the same time, I think it's better when they err on the side of giving them that
yeah,
extra joint versus not, because, especially when it's TBC, we expect, it's 2023, we expect that TBC is the best it's ever been, right? It's the
yeah,
definitive version of 3¾ inch over the past 40 plus years. So let's hope they continue to add those elbows, because we really need those elbows.
yeah. He looks great.
Let's see. So we got,
He's stealing the show for me.
yeah, oh yeah, he's great. He's fantastic. And then we have the 2-pack that you mentioned with Jedi Knight Revan HK47.
47.
Um,
Yeah.
what do you think? Because I feel based on what I see here that this HK47 is the same one from the Legacy Collection Build-A-Droid. What do you think?
I think you're right. I'll be honest. I don't have that droid. But I've heard people comment that it's basically that droid. So Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, which is kind of cool in a way because it suggests like, hey, there's always this rumor about Legacy Collection tooling. It's like, hey, they're actually doing one, so it's kind of neat. I'm
Yeah.
fine
Great
with it.
point.
I mean, it is a good figure. Like I used to have it. Believe it or not, I don't have it anymore. And the reason was that I knew another collector that missed out on that figure and really, really, really
Nice.
wanted it, and I let him have it. But
Good
yeah,
on
it's
you.
a really cool figure. Even though it's from back then. Revan, we already, we don't have the TVC Revan yet, but we can assume it's going to be probably the same exact thing as that. So
Yeah, and you and I saw that at San Diego Comic-Con, and it looked absolutely amazing. So
yeah, he did. What
yeah,
other pictures
there's
did they give us here?
purple saber. Gotta love the purple saber.
You gotta love the purple saber. Yeah, yeah, that card looks pretty nice.
Oh
It
yeah,
kind of
I haven't.
it kind of looks like almost like the temple from episode 1 of Ahsoka. I know it's not, but it kind of looks like that in the background.
What is Galaxy of Heroes? What is that? Is that coming from something, or is that something they newly launched today?
I not 100%. I'm sure somebody in the chat can fill us in,
Yeah,
but
help
my
us out.
interpretation is that it was like a game that came out.
Oh, I think they
Um,
might have mentioned something a mobile
yeah,
game. That's what. That's right.
there you
Patrick, I
go.
think
Thank you, Britt.
mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah, he
Chelsea.
was he was talking up his Nintendo 64, which I'm pretty sure he spoke about Contra, which was not Nintendo 64, Patrick, but that's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, I was like N64. Like that's really going back. Is he sure it was N64?
He's around.
Um,
He's got to be around my age. It's bringing us back.
um,
Uh,
yeah, so he looks good. Revan, and then did we get a picture of HK47's card? Yes, we did.
oh,
Yeah,
nice.
there he is. Looks nice. Looks nice.
There we go. A lot of yellow blisters here. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, yellow. Yeah.
What do you think of the box? The what they're doing with like the box 2 packs?
It's all right. It's the same thing they're doing with Obi-Wan, right? Invader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm all right with it. I mean, it's with TVC, I've always been up until the last few months. I've always been like hardcore, like one to open, one to keep in the box, and I still do that with the figures. But
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
doing it with the play sets. I was doing it with the vehicles. I was doing it with the little 4-pack army builder packs. I was doing with all that stuff, and then I got to a point where the prices started going up and up and up. I'm like, I can't be doing that anymore. So now I'm just like doing the figures, one to open, one to keep carded. And with
Yeah.
this, a year ago I would have said, oh no, I'm going to buy 3 because I'm going to want one to just keep in the box like that. But not
Right.
anymore. Not anymore. Stuff's too expensive, and there's too many things coming out at once. As you well know, we talked about this on the TVC podcast last week.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's cool though. I mean, if this is what it takes to get certain figures that otherwise would not be released, then so
That's
be it.
that's a great point, right? I mean, they are trying to safeguard the figures as well, or the card backs, right? And try to protect those. Hopefully they come through flawless in that situation at box. And there's some art to the sides of the boxes, and the whole toy photography part of it. So it's going to cost a little more, and
Yeah,
I like you mentioned, hopefully it's helping you know fund the line and help increase that profit margin, so they can increase and expand tooling and
totally.
all of that stuff. So
Definitely. So this is from Yak Face's Instagram. These are the pipelines for
nice.
TVC. Kestis is Imperial Officer. That's cool. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's easy. Um, Mandalorian Judge. Okay. Like, I'll take it. I mean, I don't know if I would have been like a first choice for me, but hey, at least it's not, another Din Djarin or something, right?
Yeah. 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 And then you have they're using the new phase 2 clone trooper to build out some additional.
Yeah, that one, I'll be honest, kind of bugs me a little bit.
Yeah, because we just
I
got we just got a couple of those. It's like, oh,
we did, and I don't really like them mixing and matching different clones into these army builder packs because you end up having to
yeah.
buy a lot more if you want to
Mhm.
get like 501st troopers or 332nd troopers, right? It's like I'd
Yeah,
rather them just be 4 packs of 501st, 332nd, or white clone troopers.
it's a great
I really
point.
don't like this mixing and matching thing. Like to me, I know it's gonna, it's gonna be more expensive, and maybe that's why they're doing it. I don't know, but to me, I'd rather them just take the time, just even if we have to wait a little longer, just like do it that way because I think I would get more out of buying those.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. It seems to be the pattern lately. I mean, there's a reason the HasLab was $500 and you had to get to 17,000 to get all the figures. Uh, they're going for the most backers possible. But for me, the pipelines was kind of like kit bash and repaint reveals. So you know, it's one of those things where you just sprinkle in one all new figure, but again, they're
Yeah,
pipelines. So there's only so much
absolutely.
they can spread out in so many events through the year too. And
Yep,
so, yeah.
definitely. Um, and while we're on the topic of TVC, if you need vintage collection clamshells to protect your precious TVC figures, Figure Shield are always the cases that I use. And you can use promo code that we're teaming up with Figure Shield on. It's
Nice.
ECNT15. It'll get you 15% off your Figure Shield purchase. Even if you're not buying TVC clamshells, any clamshells you buy from them, they have a really nice acrylic one that I posted a picture of a couple weeks ago. Definitely take advantage of that. 15% off of ECNT15 is your promo code. All right. Well, John, hey, it looks like it's already, wow, time flies. It's already past 7:30. So I appreciate you being here with us, and been fun, even though it was brief. But I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll chat again before too long on social hour or the podcast or something.
Yeah. Thank you again for having me on. What a great charity and fundraiser you're doing here today. Thank you for doing that. And everyone's impacted by cancer, right? Whatever, uh,
Yeah.
all different cancers impact everyone's family, and it's just a great thing you're doing. So, hats off to you.
Thanks, and hats off to everybody that's helping us out here as well. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you, John, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Victoria. See you, everyone.
Bye. All right. Very cool. And I want to shout out Brad Jost. Brad, how's it going? Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your super sticker here. Thank you for providing that here to our cause. Thanks to everybody else who is joining in with us. I see a fair number of friends in here. We really appreciate you very, very much, all of you that are hanging out with us this evening. And what I'd like to go ahead and do before our next guest comes on in just a few minutes is I would like to share with you what was inside this really nice Ahsoka box that Hasbro was kind enough to send my way. So yesterday I got this really big Ahsoka box, and it's got, you can see a picture of it on my Instagram. It's got a really nice picture of Ahsoka on it. Of course, we're in season 1 of Ahsoka. We saw part 6 this week, and this box is filled with Ahsoka goodies. So let's take a look and see what is in here. So the very first thing, to me, this is a really exciting one. We got the Vintage Collection Sabine Wren, and I'm really happy to have her in the collection because I did not have this. And I'm really excited to take it out and see what she's like out of the confines of her cardboard prison. In addition to that, we got some Black Series figures, and I am also really excited about these because these are others that I did not have. I think they're only starting to barely ship from certain places, but from Ahsoka, we have Ahsoka right here, and she's looking really, really, really good. And I think this is a straight repack or slight repaint at the very least of the Ahsoka that came out previously, but still really cool. really cool to have her. I'm going to put her aside. Also from Black Series, we have Sabine Wren. Sabine looking really awesome as well. Great likeness on this figure. The helmet looks great. Her lightsaber, all of that. She's packed with her blasters. So yeah, I'm excited to get these on the shelf. I'll probably do that within the next day or so. But we're not done with Black Series because there's more Black Series in this box. We also have Morgan Elsbeth, who looks awesome. Like her likeness is just dialed in. She looks so good. Really, really good. Nice. And then there's one more Black Series figure here. We got Ezra Bridger, y'all. Ezra Bridger. Look at that. Look how awesome he looks. Looks good. He's looking really, really good. Yeah, so he's got his lightsaber, he's got his blaster, and yeah, and what's interesting to me about this one is it actually says Ahsoka on it, right? I think they had said that he's based on his season 4 appearance, but it says Ahsoka on it. So are we going to see him in this outfit like in the next episode or the episode after that? I'm curious. I'm very curious. So those are the Black Series figures that were in there. There's also a bunch of other goodies that are in here too. So we have a large size talking Ahsoka doll. And you push the button here on her belt.
Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. May the force be with you. I sense much fear in you.
So she talks, and she also has light up lightsabers, which I think are pretty cool. I love the sound effect when you push the button on those. So she's pretty cool. She's pretty cool. I don't usually buy those like on my own, but gotta admit that one's pretty nice. And she's still talking down there. We also got from the Mission Fleet line this little pack right here that has. Thank you, Ahsoka. That also has some figures. You got another Ahsoka in there. We got Luke. We got Grogu and R2D2. I have a couple of these sets. I don't have too many of them, but I have a couple of them. And then there's another Mission Fleet item. We also have the Jedi shuttle, the Jedi shuttle. This is a really neat one. I would love to have this in TVC. Of course, I would have nowhere to put it, but I would still like it. But it looks really neat. Like the colors on it are just nice. I like it. The colors. I like the picture they put on her. Like, look how determined she looks. Like in that picture, she's like, "Yeah, I'm going flying. I'm going flying." I wish I was too. We got a lightsaber. Good old lightsaber here. This, I think this one needs batteries. Yeah, not included. But this is Ahsoka's lightsaber, one of her sabers. So this is neat. This is part of the Lightsaber Forge lightsabers that they sell, and you can get these in basically any store you go to, like Walmart, Target. We also got the mask, the Ahsoka headdress. I don't know if it'll fit me, but I might try it. Might be tempted to try it. I might try it. I might post a picture on Instagram. We'll see. But yeah, it's basically that's what it is. Her mask, and it's nice. It's nice. I like it. But then we have one more thing that's in here, and this is a real thing that they included. We actually have Chopper himself, C110P. This is the interactive chatterback chopper that talks and makes noises and can follow you around the house, I believe, can scare your dog or your cat. So I'm pretty happy to have this. This is one that I actually did want to get because I love droids, and this is one that will be really fun to have on the shelf or something. Yeah, so I'm excited to get him out of the box and see what he's like. Yeah, so that's everything that was in that Ahsoka box. Huge thanks to Hasbro for sending that our way so that we could enjoy and help to commemorate this awesome time where we have a series like Ahsoka on Disney Plus that we can enjoy every Tuesday night. So that is really, really cool. I'm really happy to have all of these things. Thank you, Hasbro. Thank you to Roger Town PR for sending that our way. Really appreciate you guys as always. All right, so we got a few minutes until our next guest makes their way in. So let's see what's going on here in the chat. What are you guys talking about? Let's see what's going on here in the chat. La la la. Paul wants to see the helmets. Yeah, I may need to put it on at some point. If I can find a way to open that box, maybe I'll do it. Why not? You only live once. Brit's saying consensus seems to be Ahsoka's paint apps are better here. Oh, on the Black Series figure, is that so? I have the last one on the shelf, so I will definitely later I will compare them and see how they look. Chelsea says that she loves the Black Series Sabine. Yeah, she looks really good. I'm really pleased with how she looks, and she doesn't have like an overwhelmingly huge helmet either. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Jason says that Wonder of Galaxy's Edge will start carrying Night Sister's garb. Ooh, imagine that. I would totally go as a Night Sister for Halloween. I would totally do it. Like that would be just fun. I would need to find a way to like amplify my voice so that it sounds creepier than it already does. But yeah, that would be cool. And then I get to do all the makeup and get to do all that. I would love to do that. That'd be a lot of fun. Mary, wow, thank you very much, Mary. Really, really appreciate your super chat. May the force be with you. Really appreciate having you in our comments, hanging out with us every single social hour. And thank you for your very, very generous donation. Really appreciate that and your support to such an important cause. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate that a lot. Adam, Chopper is super chatty. Yeah, his name is Chatterback Chopper. He better be chatty. That's the kind of chopper I want hanging around me. I may not always respond to him, admittedly, but you know, if he wants to bother me, that's fine. It'd be no different than my dog bothering me all day long. Hal Runner Base, how's it going? Curious what you think of the Morgan figure and articulation without the use of soft goods for the dress. So I will need to investigate that once I get her open and see what that's like. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. It's like I was saying with John a little while ago. I tend to gravitate towards plastic versus soft goods, but that's mostly for the vintage collection because when the figures are this small, it's very hard for robes and skirts and whatever it is to look natural, right? Like hoods, all that stuff. With Black Series, I feel like you can get away with it a little bit more. But as to how it affects that figure in particular, I'm not sure. But we'll definitely take a look at it and see what it's like. And we'll see what it is like. What else you guys got in here? Love seeing all the chatter and conversations that are going on. And one just in case of what? Are you talking about buying one to open and one to keep package and one just in case? You can buy one just in case if you want to. I mean, let's be real. My figures like to commit shelficide by jumping off the shelf all the time. It just happens, okay? When they do, it's happened before that a lightsaber blade snaps or a figure loses a little bit of paint on its head. Like these are real concerns, you know, real first world collector problems that happen. So it doesn't hurt to have an extra on hand. You never know when you're going to need an extra. So it's not the worst idea. If you can swing it, then do it. I don't do it as often as I used to, admittedly, but hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. All right. Now, it's almost just about 7:45 here. So that means that we may have our next guest lined up and ready to go. Looking here in the green room to see who's in there, I believe we may have the one and only from the Jurassic Park podcast, Brad Jost. Brad, how's it going?
Hello. Hey, how's it going? This is fun.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, no problem. As always, I like being here.
Yeah, thanks again for your donation. Really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. No, it's all going to a good cause, and thank you for bringing that awareness to everything. It's awesome.
Totally. So what's going on, Brad? What's good?
Oh, nothing. It's just I've been taking some time off of podcasting for the most part. I've just been hanging back. It's been kind of nice, just relaxing in the background for a bit.
Nice. Well, we'll be looking forward to when you come back. And but you need that break sometimes. Like you need the break from
Sometimes.
doing videos and
Mhm.
posting and stuff because it just, you got to recuperate those creative juices and able to do greater things, right? That's at least what I tell myself. But
Yeah, I tried to. I mean, it's been like what 7 or 8 years of pretty much going straight. There was some breaks here and there, but not much. So I just like randomly stopped after the 30th anniversary, month for Jurassic Park, and I was like, all right, let's see what's going on. Let me see if I can get back to the roots a little bit, change things up,
yeah,
do some interviews in the background until we're ready to go. So I'm excited to get back to it eventually. So, but
nice.
soon
Love
enough,
it.
soon enough.
Yeah, soon enough. Awesome. So, so Brad, our focus for our conversation is going to be Ahsoka Part 6. So, how many times have you seen this episode so far?
3 times now. 3 times. Yeah.
Nice, nice. More than
Yeah.
me. I've seen it twice so far, but
Okay.
it's just as good the second time as it was the first time.
Yeah, I know. It is excellent. I had no idea what we are going to talk about, but this is perfect. This is a good conversation because this show has been just blowing my mind each and every week. I cannot believe the things that they're bringing to the screen, and it's just making me so incredibly happy each time. And this past episode 6, I was just like I was just like scared the whole time because it was this first time in a while, in a few weeks now, that like I had no clue what was in front of us. Like last episode 5, we kind of knew like what we'd be tackling a little bit, and some of the other episodes a little bit too. But this one, I'm like, I don't know. There's like 6 seconds of footage from the trailer that could possibly be from the final, 3 episodes or so, and I was just like, what is in store? And I was like nervous the whole time. But it was nice to kind of watch it a few more times and settle in and then figure out what's going on, listen to all the conversations, and
Yeah,
it's such a good episode.
definitely. So good. Let's talk about some of the characters that we finally got to see this episode. So let's start. I guess we'll start with the one of the. Well, I mean, there were so many big ones, but this is a big one because everybody was waiting to see Thrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think? I mean, I love that the voice is so consistent with Rebels because,
Mhm.
like, he just did such an awesome job in Rebels. Like just the confidence and how calm Thrawn was and how serious he was, like not in a scary way like Vader or Tarkin, but in a reserved way. But he was every bit just as purposeful with everything he was doing, and he seriously meant business when anytime he did something. So I felt like that portrayal was just really well handled, and now we get to see the same guy in live action bringing this character to life as a real 3D human slash Chiss character. So how did you feel about the portrayal of Thrawn in this episode?
I was very anxious about Thrawn showing up. I just kept saying to myself, man, I really hope they film him correctly. I hope he looks okay. Like there was a lot going into like hoping that he comes across on screen correctly, because animation's one thing, reading a book is one thing, but when you see him in live action, a blue dude with red eyes, you got to get it right. And at first I was a little apprehensive. I mean, I feel like he could maybe use a better wig or something because it's real flat looking. But like, I thought overall, like as the episode grew on, I was like, all right, this is it. He is excellent. And you're right, the voice is something that is so good, and I'm so glad that we have these certain characters that you can pull from animation and bring that same actor to live action. So that's really incredible, because Thrawn, if he like looked different and sounded different, that would have been one thing, but at least he sounds exactly the same. It is scary in a different way, right? Seeing this guy and knowing how meticulous he is, and how far ahead he's thinking, and all the trouble that he could cause. And he seems even scarier, I think, in live action because of, how damaged his ship is. He's working with the Night Sisters. He's got potentially like I don't know. It seems like to me like an undead army of some sort. Like there's a lot going on with this guy, and I'm kind of terrified for what the future holds with Thrawn.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was very intimidating, and we don't have a character like this in Star Wars, like Thrawn. I mean, he's just something
Mhm.
totally different. Just
Yeah.
his calculating demeanor and his like the level of, I mean, he's just so concise and he's so articulate, and but I mean, he still wants to do bad things. He still wants to dominate the galaxy and all that, but he's doing it in a very different way than some of those other characters that we've become accustomed to. So yeah, I mean, I'll agree with the wig. I think the wig could, maybe use a little bit of tweaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's cool. I was really happy to
I'm
see him.
I'm very excited for like that difference. Like you said, he is somebody different, a different villain than we've seen before. I'm very excited for that difference between the Palpatines and Vaders, who are like always at the throat of the enemy or of their enemies. They're constantly attacking or force choking or whatever the case may be. But Thrawn's like, no, I'm gonna let you go off and do your thing, and you're gonna lead me to your own destruction. And it's really interesting to see how scary that can be versus the people who are straight up attacking you, like Maul or whoever. So it'll be cool to see that kind of difference, and like how potentially bad it could be, because if he's going to be a part of whatever Dave Filoni's planning next, like I can't wait to see how he progresses to whatever that is.
Yeah, for sure. It'll definitely be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So in addition to Thrawn, we were finally able to see Ezra in live action.
I know. This is like unreal to me. Like I love Rebels so much that getting to see Ezra in live action just so cool. And it was a very subdued introduction, right? Like not much happened, and they're like hello after however many years apart was pretty subdued. But I cannot wait to see what Ezra does next. I hope it's big and interesting, and but I think the portrayal is awesome. Like he is spot on. I know there was I forget who did it, but there was like artwork going around the web of somebody did like years ago, and it looked exactly like this. And yeah, I can't wait. I think he did great, like in the few minutes that we saw him. So I can't wait to see what the heck he's gonna do, because I have no clue. I hope there's a lot of powerful force power still in him somewhere,
Yeah, definitely. Looking at some of the comments, Jason says that he's Space Jesus.
Well, I actually
Yeah.
saw I guess I think it was from the 10 Commandments. I think it was like Moses or something, right? Like I think he's dressed exactly like that.
I saw that too, yeah.
So yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, Dave Filoni is layering all of these characters in, other things that we've read or seen, or lore from ancient folklore that's real or whatever. He's layering all these things in, and it all has meaning. So I don't know. I love his look now though, but I can't wait to see what he turns into.
I know. Yeah, it'll be neat. I mean, gosh, how long ago did Rebels end? Was it
2018, I think? Was it?
Right? Like it's been a minute, like, so, and we
Yeah.
never really got closure on what happened to him, like, what happened to Thrawn, and now we're finally getting that after all these years. So it's really cool to see that journey continue for these characters, and continue to see, where things may go, and presumably the next episode and the finale, we'll get to see him in action. So I'm excited for that.
I hope they because they've done it twice already. They brought the movie or the TV show to theaters. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the finale also gets an announcement for theaters. That would be so awesome. I hope so. But it's been incredible, because I got to see it, the first 2 episodes and episode 5, all in theaters, and it's like unbeatable. It looks so good in a theater. So I hope we get another chance.
Yeah, I'm so jealous you got to see that. Yeah, that's super cool. In addition to Ezra and Thrawn, the Night Sisters, like seriously, the Night Sisters?
So cool. Like, I knew what's her name? Is a Night Sister, right? And she's but she just doesn't look anything like these ones. So to actually
Right.
get ones that look like the Mother Talzin or whatever, that's really really cool. And I think it's adds like a layer of like a creepy factor to the show and to this other galaxy that they're in. Like I don't know what is going on anymore, and it's just like it feels all so new and different, and I can't wait to see what is in those. Like, is there? So you saw right in the episode they're like pushing like what looked to be like coffins or something onto the
Yeah.
ship or whatever. I'm like wondering, like, are there just tons of dead Night Sisters in there? Are there stormtroopers? Like, what is in there? And what I'm sure they're going to be reanimated at some point, like, because they're obviously using that magic. Merrick or whatever, he was reanimated, it seemed like, and he was disappearing in a cloud of dust. So I can't wait to see what kind of weird magic they bring to this universe, because we've never really gotten that in live action like this. So it's gonna be crazy.
Right. No, that we haven't, and they're creepy. They're really creepy.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is a whole new other element to Star Wars, like seeing them and for live action anyway.
Yeah.
It's gonna be new to a lot of people seeing like this new like dark magic like aspect of Star Wars. So
Yeah, I think they're like this show's doing a lot of work to alienate people and to bring new things to people. Like I guess it's alienating because like you have to understand a whole lot of stuff before getting into this. And if you don't, you might be like, "What? What are these people? Who are they? Like what is happening?" But I feel like, there's been subtle things even when what was it? The Lord of the Rings dude from Rise of Skywalker was like talking about Palpatine, and they said something about like dark magic and all kinds of things that are
yeah,
happening across the galaxy. And I think some of that's right here. They're laying the foundations here.
yeah, and yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see how that story continues to play out. So let's see what else
Yeah.
they got here. Captain Enoch.
Oh,
All right, Captain Enoch. What's going on with Captain Enoch here?
I don't know, but this character is so awesome. Like this is the coolest stormtrooper I've ever seen. And Star Wars in the past several years since I guess when did Captain Phasma show up? Was that
Force
Force
Awakens.
Awakens? Okay.
Mhm.
Since about then, I feel like we've been like, or maybe even before that, but like we've been getting these really really interesting iterations of like that stormtrooper-esque armor. We got Captain Phasma. There was a gold one in Resistance. I forget what that one was. I think I have it up on the
Higher?
shelf. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. So this one is just like unlike anything else, and it's got this Roman-esque kind of mask that's on the face, and I don't know, it
Which is a
looks
big
so
topic right now,
cool.
apparently, on the
Oh
internet.
yeah. We're still talking about the Roman Empire all the time, and Dave Filoni's just making it worse for us. So yeah.
Um, yeah, like when I watch like Star Wars, like there's not a lot that like shocks me as per se. Like I mean, like when we had Anakin last week, I loved that. When we had when we saw in live action like Sabine and Hera, like I loved that. But as I was watching this episode, I saw these stormtroopers and I see this guy like that like threw me for a loop, like in a way I hadn't been thrown in a long time because it was just like
Mhm.
what? Like this guy,
Yeah.
what's his deal? I want to know more about him and how he sees out of that mask.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. How does he see out of that mask? I don't know if it matters. Like he might be just some dead, fog inside that shell there. Who knows?
Good
But
point.
like, yeah, it is. I think he did like a reveal, like he turned towards the camera, right? And you're just like, like what is happening? And what I love is that Thrawn is like patching together his army and his ship. It's got all these bits of gold all over it, and obviously a lot of the stormtroopers do, and they've got kind of like Night Sister garb all over them as well with the wrappings. And this one's got, I don't know, some sort of stuff all over him there. So I don't know, but
Right.
it is cool looking. It is so
It's
cool.
super cool. It is. Oh, cool. Brad, I wish we could talk longer about Ahsoka, but our 15 minutes has gone by super, super quick.
I know.
Um, but
Well, thank you though. Thank you for having me and letting me talk about Ahsoka. I don't get the chance too much to talk to people about like this one thing I love. So that's awesome. Thank you for letting me do that.
of course, thank you for being here. And thanks again for your super sticker as well that you sent donation. Really
No, no
appreciate it
problem.
very much.
Yeah, no problem. Great
Yeah,
job
cool.
bringing the awareness to everybody out there. So yeah,
Yeah.
chat's been killing it. So you keep going and have a great stream.
Thank you, Brad. You too. Take care and we'll talk soon.
Bye. Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
All right. So just want to remind everybody that tonight, any proceeds from this stream after it publishes, proceeds from this stream, super chats, anything from the spring merch shop, 100% of that's going to thyroid cancer awareness and to fund ThyCath for the work they do for pediatric thyroid cancer research. So thank you very much for all the donations who've gone so far. Really, really appreciate it. We have links down in the description below if you're able to help out. All right, so it is 8 o'clock, so it's time for yet another surprise guest. Who is it? I guess we'll find out. From the Boba Fett fan club, is it possible that Chelsea is in the house with us this evening? Chelsea.
Of course. Hello. I'm so glad to be here. Having a great time, and the chat really is bumping. So, everybody's excited.
Absolutely. So you're from the Boba Fett fan club. So
Yes.
there's no way we can't not talk about Boba Fett because, as you know, Boba Fett is dope, right?
Yes, that was from our last social hour. That was kind of our little hashtag that we came up with. So, I love talking about Boba Fett. It's like pretty obvious. I mean, my Boba Fett section is kind of like up there, but I've also got lots of clones, so it's like basically Boba Fett, like right in this area. So
love it. Yeah, and I see all that. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you for being here. Thanks again for your own donation that you sent for this cause. I really appreciate that very much.
Of course. I mean, I really appreciate you having this fundraiser, and it's such an important thing to really think about. My own nephew is a survivor of pediatric cancer, and it's really great that you're funding, research to try and like save lives and really help people out because anytime a family member is dealing with cancer, you've got the hospital bills, you've got, lots of different, complicated things kind of going on. So I'm so glad to be able to help and, raise some money for this great cause.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, it's super important. And, we just got to keep sending the message. This is something that, we can't ignore. We gotta find solutions.
Absolutely.
So I noticed a post on the Boba Fett fan club on Instagram. I think it was the night before or 2 nights ago regarding this right here. It was, I think, the 19th anniversary since the DVDs came out for the very first time. And I still remember that night. I remember going to Walmart at midnight and going to buy it and being really excited to finally pick it up on DVD because at that point, Star Wars was not available on DVD. Well, you can get it on VHS at the time. You can get it on Laserdisc, but there was no streaming. There was nothing like that, right? It was just there wasn't a Disney Plus, So I mean, this was the best way to get it at the time. What this post asks is about the voice. Which is the best Boba Fett voice? The original voice that Boba had from back in the day from Jason Wingreen, or the second voice that was added in this version of the DVD release by Tamora Morrison. Curious to hear your thoughts on what you think is the better voice.
It's a tough question, right? I mean, this is kind of a controversial Boba Fett fan club post. Like, we try not to get super controversial, but it's interesting seeing what people have to say. I would have to say personally, I really like Tem's voice. was around for like the prequels. Like that was like kind of my thing when I was a kid. So, you know, hearing Tem's voice, you know, that's the voice of Jango Fett. That's the voice of the different clones. Like I really enjoyed hearing Tem's voice. Although I think the voice acting direction could have been a little bit better. You know, it's it kind of is what it is. But I think either one is, you know, a great version. I'm trying to be like diplomatic here, right? Like, you know, you've got the OG, and it's interesting when you think about kind of like the DVDs or like the special editions, that kind of thing, and really thinking about like how is George Lucas kind of changing his vision. Like he's changing things, but it comes with a lot of like complicated feelings, right? You know, especially for people who grew up or, you know it as a certain thing. You know, people get really attached. And so it's really interesting what happens when you are changing those things. And obviously it's George Lucas, like he can do whatever he wants. It's like his thing, right? But you know, and again, you kind of also see some of the you know, the digital creatures that were put in there, like the dewback, and you know, part of me is kind of like, oh man, I really wish they had like puppet kind of things. Like I feel like it looks a little out of place, but you know, it's George Lucas's world. We're just living in it, right?
True. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's, you know, like you said, diplomatic, good reasons there. You know, for me, it's a tough one. Like of all the special edition changes, like for me, this is the trickiest one because I love the Wingreen voice.
Yes.
I feel like you know, he sounds mysterious. He sounds, you know, a little scary.
Right.
And that, I think that's part of the reason why Boba Fett became what he did, you know, in popularity, despite his lack of screen presence for a long time. And, you know, it just kind of added to that, you know, who is this guy? You know, what does he look like under the mask?
Exactly.
But on the other hand, you know, I do appreciate the consistency, you know, knowing that Boba is a clone of Jango, an unmodified clone. I appreciate having that consistency of, you know, he should sound the same, you know, and now we have the book of Boba Fett, you know, now we have the Mandalorian, so we know what he sounds like. So it's a tough one. Like certain things I changes I do like the Hayden change, love that.
Yes, for sure.
But other things like Jedi Rocks, not so much.
Oh, you don't like Jedi? Oh my gosh. No, that's horrible. Sorry.
What do you think of Boba Fett in A New Hope now that we get to see him right after Jabba and Han have their little moment?
I mean, it's great that you actually do kind of see like what is he up to. You know, he's this character in Empire that is just so iconic. It's Boba Fett, like this mystery guy, and you know, it's interesting we get a little bit of a slice of kind of who is this character, like where was he during A New Hope. Again, this is like something that's very divisive, I think, within like the community, because you know, it's like, well, you know, they're kind of retconning things. That can be either a good or a bad thing. It just depends on your certain point of view. But you know, I think it's cute. I love anytime Star Wars kind of like references itself. And we're seeing that a lot with the Ahsoka show, right? Like anytime we're kind of getting what are characters doing at this certain point in time, I think it's really interesting kind of getting that perspective. And again, like there's merits, there's positives and negatives to both the original version as well as the, you know, special edition. And something I really wish was possible is that like we get this original version somewhere that's not like, oh, I have to torrent this from like this shady website, right? It'd be nice to be able to have like the option to look at, this is what the original looked like on Disney Plus, right? It would be really cool to be able to share that with, you know, your kids, if you have them who are just learning about Star Wars, and being able to show kind of like the differences.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is interesting. And in a way, it is kind of cool that there's choices. I mean, it's not necessarily easy to see the originals like on Blu-ray
Right.
or
Mhm.
streaming or whatever, but at least there are some options. If you prefer one over the other, then
Yep.
you have that option.
Exactly. And it's cool that fans can kind of decide amongst themselves and like debate what they really think about it, because that's the fun of Star Wars, right? Is talking to other fans about it and, having those very passionate debates about what you think about everything in Star Wars.
Absolutely. All right, so I want to highlight Tom. Thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it. Where's my Boba Fett retro? That's a good question.
That's a great question. So I actually, for Boba Fett fan club, so you can just go to bobafett.com if you'd like. I actually, for San Diego Comic-Con, I wrote up a little kind of summary, and I talked with Chris, one of the designers, who is kind of the designer for the retro wave, and we kind of talked a little bit about his inspirations and looking at older toys and that kind of thing. And from what I gathered, it now sounds like it won't be available until next spring, so spring 2024. It originally did say in the San Diego Comic-Con booth like fall 2023, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be sometime in the spring. So, but yeah, that retro Book of Boba Fett collection, I love it. I think it looks great.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and I can't really complain about the break. There's been so much stuff processing. There's been the Ghost HasLab. There's been the Boba Fett Throne Room. There's been the Jabba's Denizens 3-pack from Vintage Collections coming out. The Bad Batch Warmer exclusive Black Series are processing.
Yep.
Retro Collectors from the Jedi's about to process. I mean, there's just so. I know I'm missing others, but there's just so much right now. The N1 is processing. Right. There's just it's too much.
My bank account is screaming. Like it's not doing great.
Yeah, no, it's like most expensive collecting month ever, and I don't say that lightly. Somebody's been collecting for a long time. Like, I mean it wholeheartedly. This is the most expensive collecting month ever. Like, I've never had a more expensive one than this month.
Yep, it's a lot. Expensive hobby, right? Like,
yes.
Why couldn't I have picked something different?
I know. Why couldn't I have taken up knitting or something?
I was literally thinking knitting. I swear. Same wavelength.
We got a donation from Dan. Oh, Dan. Thank you so much for your super chat here. Really appreciate your donation to go towards the cause. Thank you so much for sending that our way. All right. So Chelsea, I want to talk to you really quickly here about something that we touched on when we before we got started this evening. So you mentioned you got yours. I got mine today. I've been working on it here and there. Boba Fett's Throne Room. What are you thinking so far?
So I opened it, and when I was putting it together, I got that feeling of when I was a kid and you would get a big play set for, Christmas or your birthday or whatever. And it just feels like that, at least for me. And I've been kind of joking that it's like the Boba Fett's dream house. And I love all of the accessories that are in there. There's just so many different accessories, and I can't wait to kind of set it up on my shelf and, make all those like weird decisions about like, oh, well, you've got to make sure that the protocol droid head is right here. And, you got to make sure that the different glasses are there. You've got barbecued Salacious Crumb. Like, what a great little piece. I'm so excited to make like vignettes with this particular, play set here.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, I haven't gotten to put in a ton of time into it yet, but I did construct it. Like, I know you guys can't see because it's tiny, but the shelf, I already had the space ready to go. Like, the dimensions are perfect. Got the Rancor in there. I've got the skiff on the next shelf over. So it's like it's fun. I'm having a good time putting my aliens in there, and probably once the stream's over, I'll continue doing that. But yeah, it's fun. It's definitely a fun set, like you're saying. I love it. I'm happy to have it in the collection. It's huge.
It really is. You never know. It's like, it's TVC, right? So
Yeah.
3.75
Yeah.
inches, but you
100%.
never really know how big it is until you get it in your hand. Same with like the ghost, you know, that is huge, but
Yeah,
you know,
it's really
it's
cool.
you got to make space, right?
Gotta make space, right? For sure. Well, hey, Chelsea, it's been a blast. I wish we could talk longer, but we'll definitely connect for another episode of Such Hour in the near future.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thanks again for coming on and chatting with me for a little bit. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much for having me. And everyone in the chat, Boba Fett is dope. BobaFett.com.
Boba Fett is dope. Hit up Boba Fett fan club, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So just a reminder that anything you guys send our way, 100% of it from the Teespring store, from super chats, proceeds from the stream, going to thyroid cancer research for kids. You can also send directly to the foundation, thycat.com. The link is down in the description below. But it is 8:15, and I think our next guest is in the green room ready to go. So I'm not going to waste any time here. I'm going to bring him in, the one, the only, Dan O from the Dan O channel. Dan, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's been a minute.
It has. When did I see? I saw you at
It wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, SDCC.
That's right. That's right. We ran into each other on the floor of Comic-Con. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
You know, your channel has grown so much in the last few years, Dan. Like, I remember like getting in on the Dano channel really early on, and just to see the growth, it's been really inspiring. It's been really awesome, very well deserved. Like, your channel seriously is like one of my top 5, like that I'll watch on YouTube. I just love it. Every video is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. I have fun doing it. It's kind of cool to be able to turn on the camera and like goof off about Star Wars for however long. You know, it's a fun job.
It is a lot of fun. Like YouTubing, you know, it can be work, it can be challenging. There's a lot of editing, there's a lot of this, a lot of that, but it is fun. Oh, yeah. It is a lot of fun to be on YouTube. So I guess let's talk a little bit about, you know, I'm going in a few weeks once again, and I know that I think you went fairly recently, so I want to talk to you a little bit about what the latest is from Galaxy's Edge. So tell me what's going on at Galaxy's Edge as of late. Any news?
So lately with Ahsoka, they've had new characters show up at Disneyland, not at Disney World, but at Disneyland. Hera and Chopper make appearances. Ahsoka makes appearances. We don't know who the next one is, but I'm guessing they're going to announce something probably within the next week or two. If they're following like the pattern that they've been doing so far, I would guess maybe Sabine or something like that. But as of right now, they have new character appearances, which is pretty cool. It's kind of cool to see that they're diving in and using it that way. It does break the Galaxy's Edge timeline canon or whatever, where it's supposed to be between episode 8 and 9. But they broke it when they brought in Mando and when they brought in Boba Fett and Fennec Shand. Right. So at this point, nothing matters. But that's the new thing there. Over at Batu East in Florida this week, the Galactic Star Cruiser closes down for its final voyage on September 28th. I am going to be on the September 26th voyage, the second to last voyage. So I leave Sunday night to get there Monday, and Tuesday I'll be going on the Star Cruiser for my last voyage. Yeah, and so there's a big like community event going on down there. The Heroes of the Halcyon, they're a Star Wars podcast that focuses on Galactic Star Cruiser. They're putting on a big event with cast and crew invited, as well as all the people of the community, and we're all gonna have a big party on, I think, September 30th. So,
nice. Sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Definitely. Yeah, and the characters, like seeing pictures, seeing video clips, like they look great. It seems like people are having a great time interacting with them.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the opening day for Ahsoka showing up. People were crowded around like crazy. There was a huge crowd, which takes away from it a little bit. They want it to be like more of a natural, like the characters roaming around. It doesn't quite work if there's people, like hordes of people surrounding them. But that was opening day. That's how people are at Disneyland whenever anything's new. But it seems like it has chilled out since then, and the characters are able to roam around and be a little bit more natural. But to me, the cool thing is they had Chopper. Like, it's Hera and Chopper. And so there's someone there, you know, controlling Chopper and making him talk, and they like interact with each other. It's really cool to see that they're doing that. It's just nice that Batu, specifically West, gets all this kind of cool character love.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they look great. And yeah, I hope that when I'm there in a few weeks that they'll still be around. Is that I think they said it's a limited time, right? Or
they did, but you never know what that means. Like that could be 2
Right.
weeks, it could be a month, it could be, I don't know. It might also depend on the success. Like if it's drawing people out, then why wouldn't they keep it up a little bit? Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting. Coming up though in November is going to be Life Day. There's going to be a big community event for that, so that'll be pretty cool. And West, of course, is a bigger local community, so that's a little bit bigger of an event in Disneyland. Also, I'll be out there for that. I think it's my next Disneyland trip, but previously the last one I did was during July for San Diego. I was there like 2 days before I saw you at Comic-Con. I was at Disneyland, but that was my most recent trip to Disneyland.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's cool. And I absolutely love seeing that there's, such big like fan communities that have like been able to build clubs like your own droid club and
Yeah.
people that have become so like involved and being able to share this like passion and adoration for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge through that. I think it's just really, really cool.
It's our playground. Like it's that playground like when we were kids on the playground pretending we were in Star Wars. Like we as adults now get to actually do that in a realistic playground. And it's fun. It's neat how the community's kind of latched onto that. Like you're saying, they do a bunch of meetups. There's a Galaxy's Edge Discord, and they've been organizing these huge lightsaber meetups, which are really cool. Over at Batu East, at some of the lightsaber meetups, Ashley Eckstein will show up, which is really cool to see that she will go like whenever she has time in her schedule, she'll stop by to those lightsaber meetups. And like, imagine how cool that would be to be at the lightsaber meetup and there's Ahsoka, like the voice of Ahsoka, hanging out with you with her lightsaber too. I mean, she's one of us. She's definitely one of us. So it's cool. I love it.
Too cool. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk to you a little bit about droids because I know you're really into the droid depot and building your own droids.
See my little Rongo droid back there, Tiki droid.
Never built. Yeah, I see them. I see them. Yeah, love it. Actually haven't built a droid there yet that I've gone. I've bought some of like the pre-made ones like R2 and Chopper and BD1. I think I have. Who else do I have? We have another. Rex, DJ Rex. But I've never built like my own there, and that's what I want to do next. But I wanted to ask you what kind of droid I should build because I'm not sure. I'm like, I know there's a lot more options than there used to be. So as a first-time droid builder,
there's kind of three options, right? So there's R units, and there's all manner of domes. You can have like R2 through 6, I believe, or maybe R7. I don't remember. There's quite a few if you get an R unit. On the BB units, there's not as many like things you can do. They're very cool and they roll, so they're kind of neat, but there's not as many options. And now there's C1 units, so you can make a chopper style droid. And there's a couple variations there too. Personally, if it's your first one, I would recommend an R unit just because you get more choice, more variety, but also because there's more accessories for it. Like you can get blaster attachments for the legs and hook in little blasters that when you use on your remote, it actually makes them light up and make blaster noises. They're same with like leg jets as well, like the jetpack you see R2 use in Revenge of the Sith, where he like lights the oil on fire, at the very beginning. That kind of thing. You can get those attachments for an R unit. There are tools you can put in the little doors that open up on the R unit body. The C1 units can use those too. They do have little doors with the holes as well, but not as many. So R units have more on that. And all of them work with the personality chip. So it doesn't matter what personality chip you get. I want to say there's 8 or 9 different variety of personality chip now. And they'll all work on any manner of droid. Doesn't matter what kind it is, as long as it's one of the build your own or it's a chopper, R2, BB. Like it won't work on Dio. It won't work on BD1. But otherwise, it'll work on all the other droids. But yeah, I would say go with an R unit. They're fun and you can customize them. Like I gotta show them off. I have to show them off. Look at it. Like this didn't come like this. I painted it like this, and it's just like, oh, and the drink tray. That's an accessory you can get. It doesn't come with the birds. This is my these were from the creature stall, but I decided to paint them like the tiki birds because I was like, it's got to match. And also, he's painted like a Dole Whip, so
Yeah.
I went for a whole theme. But that's like you mentioned, the Droid Builder group, Mubo's Droid Builders Club. That's what they do over there. We just get these droids, which are really cool droids. They're I believe still $100 at Disneyland. They're $99.99. In Disney World, they're $120, so you get a better deal at Disneyland. But for what they are, they're cool and they're plastic. And they're just like a neat, cool remote control droid. But it's when you weather them. It's when you add more to them. When you kind of take them up a level. You know, like $6 worth of cheap paint can go a long way, even if it's just like a mild black wash, a little bit of brown around the wheels, you know? So it's one of those things where it's really easy to do. If you want to get into weathering them, I would definitely suggest it because it makes your droid yours, a little more yours. And you can custom, change, you can make it whatever you want. You can build the story into it. If you want to add blaster marks, you can do that kind of thing. Like tell your droid story through how you painted it. And so that's why I love it so much because you can really do a lot of different options with what they've got at the Droid Depot. But if it's your first one, go R unit.
Right on. Yeah. Well, thank you for your input. Sounds good. And there's the personality chips too, right? Where you can change how they
sound.
How they sound.
Yeah.
Right on. And I love that Shop Disney is starting to sell more of like the pre-made ones like on the website because they had it for I think they every now and then they had, but like now they're like right now there's actually like several.
They just added them, I think, this last week.
Yeah, like these guys right here, like there's a good number of them you can actually pick up right now. BB-8, Chopper.
Yeah, DJ Rex.
Battle Droid.
In a while. Yeah, the Battle Droid. That's true. It's another good one. There's the pre-made one, the one on the far right there. Yeah, the R2 with the drink tray, and I believe it has a metal dome and the shinier doors. Because they actually sell a separate metal dome, and it's actually like made of metal. It's a little bit heavier, so it does slow your droid down. But the finish on it's really good, and it has an additional light that the plastic one doesn't have. So when you make him talk, it's got just one extra little electronic feature on it that the other one doesn't. And that one's actually a really good deal for what you get there.
Nice. Yeah, I remember seeing your video. I think you did a video last year on that, where you were putting that new metal head on different droids and showing the lights in the back. Yeah. No, it's neat. And the drink tray on this one too. That's kind of cool. You get the drink tray.
Yeah, the drink tray's cool looking, but in practice, it's not great. Like you see, they had to put it on R2 in front of him on that picture on the top left. That's the only way you can use it and like make him drive still. It's weird because like if you have it backwards, it doesn't really work if you want it to move. So mine, I just leave standing up. He's really just for display. I don't drive it around or anything. But so the drink tray is cool, and it does fall apart really easily too. I had to glue mine together to make sure it didn't come apart because each one of those little panels that sandwiches in over each other, you just snap them together and they snap apart very easily. So if you get that, just glue it once and be done with it.
Right on. They have the regular R2 too, it looks like.
Yeah, and that's a good one because that's a little different from what you could build on the conveyor belt. Like you could build that R2 for $100 if you wanted, but that one comes weathered. So that one's got like a little bit of a brown wash and like dirt and grime on it, where the one on the conveyor belt will be clean.
Okay, yeah. Does the drink tray one have the weathering on it too?
It does. It does, yeah.
Cool. Then Battle Droid, do you have any of those, like the Protocol Droid?
I don't. No, I don't. That's like the one. I think there's one or two that I don't have. The Battle Droid's one of them, and I don't have DJ Rex, which is a shame. I should get DJ Rex.
Yeah, he's fun. DJ Rex is fun. I love how they did that. I just love having a DJ Rex that you can actually like turn on and listen to.
Yeah, it's a Bluetooth speaker, right? Like you can play your music through there.
Yeah, you can. Cool. It is cool.
Very cool.
Well, nice. Anything else going on at Galaxy's Edge or any news updates? Advice?
I mean, advice. Go to West instead of East if you can. That's always my advice. Is West is just a little bit cooler.
Well, easy for us because we're on the West Coast.
Yeah, we're
so.
here on the West Coast, which is interesting. I'm actually just became a Disney World pass holder this week, but I'm not a Disneyland pass holder, which is just a weird turn of events that my life has taken. But still, it's just weird. I'll be over there more often in the next year than I know that I'm going to be for Disneyland. So yeah, but that said, I still love Batuu West the most. They just get cooler stuff. Like for Life Day, likely going to get new food, new drinks at Oga's, new merch usually drops in November for Life Day as well. And they might even have more stuff show up soon too. But it's West is the best, is what I always tell people.
Yeah, I haven't been to East yet, but I definitely love going to West. Even aside from the fact that there's a Star Wars land there, I mean, there's still Disneyland there. There's still all these other amazing things to do. So definitely love going. Well, cool. So our time has gone super fast, Dan, but really appreciate you being with me for this little bit, talking Galaxy's Edge, talking droids.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll have to connect soon for a live stream or something again one of these days.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Dan, and thanks again for your donation. We really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye.
Take care.
All right. So taking a look here, Alex, thank you, Alex, so much for your super chat. Really appreciate your donation going towards our cause here. And thanks again to everybody who's done it so far. Just a reminder here again that tonight all super chats, all proceeds from the stream, all sales from the VC store, 100% go to pediatric thyroid cancer research. To thycad.com. You can also donate to them directly using the link down in the description. Adam, thank you so much for your comment and thank you for your donation. Really, really appreciate that. All right, good stuff. So it is time to move along. We got two guests left, you guys, 2 guests left. Can you guess who they are? So let's see. Who's in the green room right now? Do I have Ken? Is Ken Plume in the green room right now? Is that you, Ken?
I will go check. I'll be right back. Hi, good evening.
How's it going?
It's going great. Happy to be here. Thank you for asking. Happy to support in any way I can.
Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Gosh, it's been a while since we did social hour, right? When was that? That was like in the spring, I want to say.
Maybe even earlier than that.
Earlier, possibly.
It's been a while. I think it's been a year since you've been on Force 5, right?
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. Too long since done anything. You'll be on open chat soon, so
awesome.
But I did pull out my Krennic figure, and I do believe that is a brand new cape. I don't think it's the same cape. The flare seems slightly different on the photos. Like the holster side has more of a flare in on the one that was in the photograph, so I think it's different. But if you love this cape, I can't imagine you can't use this one
options
the TVC.
Cool. Well, thank you for confirming that. It's good to know that we didn't
now we got that sorted.
Swipe an old cape from I don't know how many years ago now and put it on a new figure. Awesome. Cool. So how's it going, Ken? How you doing?
Doing well. Just plugging along. How have things been equally? Are you recovered yet from the September tsunami that we've gotten a product yet?
No, because I got a notice from Pulse today saying that my Cantina Denizens 3-packs are about to process very soon. So I haven't yet recovered, and that's
yeah, that was not a welcome email to get so soon after the throne room arriving, which I thought mine was lost, but thankfully I found out someone has put it in the garage without telling me. So that was a fun thing to be panicked about for a day. So seeing that the Throne Denizens notice come out was a bit so soon after changing my Pulse order for the Black Series Jabba over to Shop Disney because they were actually shipping them out, and you got the free shipping for it being as expensive as it is. So it's nice to have a replacement Jabba for when the other one breaks. That one back there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can never have too many Jabbas, can you? Really?
You really cannot have too many Jabbas. After that Hallmark ornament, have you picked that up yet?
Not yet.
Oh, that was too good to pass up. I mean, it talks. It moves and talks. Who doesn't want a talking Jabba on your Christmas tree?
If you don't, you're just a terrible person for not wanting.
You know what? It's an
talking
all
about-
year ornament. Just look at it that way. It's you put it on the shelf when the tree's up. You put it on the tree. Rest of the year, have it on your desk. Let it just bark at you, and let Salacious Crumb laugh at you. That's a good time. That's an all year. It's an all year fun.
If somebody's gonna laugh at you, may as well be Salacious, be Crumb. Why not?
Yeah. That's what I paid for. That's what I wanted. So
Yes.
yeah, no, I hope things slow down. The amount of items that look like they're coming in. Sadly, I didn't get the Ahsoka box, so I was quite jealous of the fact that the wave that looks like it's coming in super fast is something I'm going to have to also cope with, because I imagine that'll be hitting us all best case scenario, or with worst case with the pricing, beginning of October. I imagine we'll start getting our shipping notifications on that entire wave.
Yeah, probably pretty soon. Some people are getting them somehow. They're ending up.
Oh, and I
with them
forgot the
already.
N1. I forgot the N1 also came.
The N1, I had to actually, I canceled my pre-order. I mean, I don't usually do that, but like I said, like it's just been crazy. Like I'm gonna get it. You know, I'm gonna wait until next month. But yeah,
Thankfully, I was able
it's
to get
super
it from my
fun.
local comic shop, who got them in. It wasn't the Amazon pre-order, which still I guess is not shipped for folks. So I went ahead and
Yeah, and it's always weird too, because sometimes they'll say, "Oh, it's not till January," but then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, surprise! It shipped. We charged you $130 here. It's on its way."
They just need to. I'll accept within like a 3-month range. Like, give me 3 months of flexibility of when it will come, but don't tell me it's a year from now and then a week later go, it's shipping. Have fun.
Yeah, they did the same thing with my my clone trooper helmet, the 332nd Ahsoka clone like helmet. Like it wasn't supposed to come out till later this year, and then all of a sudden, like I get the email and it's like, oh, it'll be there tomorrow. I'm like,
And in 3 weeks,
cool,
you'll have your
I
Rex
love
helmet.
it. I know now there's that. It's exciting. I love it, but I need a break. I need a break from this stuff, Hasbro.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much all Hasbro. Like it's really not everybody else.
If it wasn't
like
for the
bombarding
Ghost,
me.
I don't think it would be as bad.
Right, that's
But
true.
having to prepay for the Ghost, and that was sort of my that was my book treat to myself with the DuckTales book. So that was what I got myself. I was like, oh, you know what? I missed out on the barge. I missed out on the Razor Crest. I'm going to get the Ghost. I'm not going to miss out on that. I luckily got the Galactus, which is there behind me, from my local comic book shop, who got them in afterwards, because I saw when everyone started unboxing theirs, going, oh no, that's too neat. I can't not have that, right? And knowing that the secondary market is now ridiculous for all of those
I know.
things.
Yeah, it can be.
I can't imagine what the Ghost is going to be like on the secondary market. Give it a year after its arrival.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Because it's like 10,000 less than the Razor Crest ultimately hit with the production numbers.
Roughly something like that. Yeah.
And maybe and how many? What was it? 15,000 on the sail barge. 10,000. How many sail barges? What did that hit?
That I forgot. I'm sure John Miko could tell us. I'm sure he knows. He's still in here.
Put up the Miko signal. John, let us know. But it's more than the sail barge, but less than the Razor Crest. By a significant amount less than the Razor Crest.
Yeah. Oh, here it is right here. See, John's on top of it. Thank you, John. 8810.
So a little more than 10,000 of what? 13,000 above, and about 10,000 beneath.
Yeah, and the barge still goes for like I mean, I haven't, I don't remember seeing it at Comic-Con this year, but the year before still being for like 3,000. So
Because you just don't see them coming up. Even the Razor Crest, I don't see coming up that often. I guess the people who got them actually wanted them.
They actually loved them, yeah.
So yes, the ghost. I don't know where I'll put it. Have you figured out where you're putting yours yet? Now that you've got the palace as well, the throne room.
I don't even have the Millennium Falcon, like, you know, that being like the most recognizable ship from Star Wars or one of them. Like, I don't even have that on display because it's just, you know, things like that are just hard. And I know John puts his on the guitar stand. So I may do that eventually, but it's like, I've been working really these last few weeks, like on reorganizing and getting stuff on the shelf and like condensing and packing things as tightly as I can so I can get more on the shelves. But I still don't have room for that Falcon anymore, so I'm gonna have to figure that out.
I'm
I just need a
jealous
big,
of the
big house with a big collection room.
But you need the
that'll solve
collection
those
house.
problems until I end up
You
buying
need
more.
the house for living, and you need the collection house.
Yes.
The one you walk to the back
Maybe.
when you just want to go and have your time with your collection. Little sorting room, an unboxing room, a storage room for the boxes that you've just unboxed. No, there's not enough room. I envy the people, speaking of that Millennium Falcon, because mine's just sitting on a storage box right now, that trust their hanging ability enough to hang it on the wall. That thing is so heavy. I don't know if I would trust that. I mean, it's very difficult to find where to put all these vehicles. How many vehicles do you actually have? Large ones that are out of their boxes? Because I know you have all the Clone Wars stuff that came out, which I'm envious of. Like, what do you actually have out? Oh, you froze up for just a bit.
For the big ones, I mean, I got the AT-AT, but it's on the floor. It's like over in its own like little area. I got the Imperial shuttles. That's fairly big. Republic gunships, decent size. Behind me, I've got the ATTE. I got the turbo tank up here. I got the Razor Crest a little higher up and the barge a little higher up. And then I got a bunch of other smaller vehicles. But
how many ATSTs do you have by now?
Like 4.
Do you have all of them?
I don't have all of them. No, I have the most recent one on display. It's the only one I have on display currently.
And did you swap out the one you previously had when you got the new one in, or did you not have any up until that point?
The other one wasn't even standing, so I had it on display, and then eventually I just like put it in a bin because it wasn't standing anymore.
Yeah, mine's in a crouching position right now. I'm not even bothering to try and get it to stand up.
Yeah, and I have the B-Wing on display too, and that's a sizable one, but it's not as big as like the barge or the Razor Crest. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it all comes down to space, right? Like, there's never enough space to put everything up. I wish there was, but until there is, I'm just kind of rotating things out every now and then. When I need to dust the shelf, I'm like, okay, I gotta dust the shelf. May as well move a few things around so I can make up that space.
Tell me about it. As you can see, the throne room I think is going to be a difficult one to deal with, because I also would like to set it up with the playset that came out previously with Han. What was the name of that original the first playset that came out a few years back? Wasn't the throne room? It was a Jabba's palace playset. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that one.
Because I certainly would love to have that adjacent where it should be and make the big display.
That's what I did. Like, I know you can't see it, but it's in right there. But the new Jabba's Palace playset, and then next to it, I put the walls from the older one with Han and Carbonite. And
it's too big. Yeah, it's too big. How many pieces do you think you'll lose?
I hope none, but I mean, I've lost like from the Cantina bar sections back from like was it the 90s? Like the early 2000s, I've lost some of those bar glasses. I've lost some of every now and then I'll lose a weapon. I don't know where they end up. They just disappear apparently. So that does happen every now and then. I'll lose.
Do you have the opposite happen? Like I have sometimes where I find a weapon and I have no idea what it goes to. So I'm happy that I found it, but because so many blasters are the same blaster for so many characters. And it's like, well, eventually I'll find who you belong to, but at least I found you. So now you're just sitting loose. Yeah,
I mean, I'm such a weirdo though with it that I kind of to some extent memorize like what comes with what, not by like trying to memorize it, just like I remember like what it went with. And occasionally I will find like a gun. I'm like, wait, which cantina does that belong to? Does it belong to Brainiac, or does it belong to Moset Benid? Like I'll just have to like think about it for a little bit until I remember, or I go online and look at a website and figure it out.
The one
that
I
way.
found
But
was now that we're getting so many ARC Trooper blasters and Mandalorian blasters, and they're so tiny, and they look exactly the same. That's when
Yeah.
it starts getting. It's like, did I have this one posed holding his blaster? Now I just leave them in the holsters. I don't even bother to pose them holding anything anymore.
that's a good way to do it too if you want to make sure that we get lost.
So what figure are you most excited about that came up?
From PulseCon, I'm pretty excited for I guess the TVC Krennic, because it's been on my list for a long time. So I'm excited, looking forward to that one. Cool. Well, Ken, it's been 15 already. Can't believe time flies that quickly. But
This has been a delight. Thank you for having me. I hope everyone donates and continues to donate. And you have a great rest of the stream. And I appreciate you asking me on. And we'll do an open chat soon.
yeah, for sure. Just hit me up. We'll do it.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks again for coming on. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys, last reminder here that tonight, all super chats, all proceeds from the stream, and anything bought on the VC merch store, 100% of proceeds go to pediatric thyroid cancer research. If you'd like to donate directly to ThyCow, we do have a link down in the description. So any of those links, you can hit them up down below. Thanks to everybody who has contributed so far. All right, so it is 8:45. And gosh, this time has gone by super quick, but we're going to bring on our next and final guest of the night. Super excited because if I look over into the green room, I believe, is Robo in there? Is he in the green room right now?
You made me the final guest. So much pressure.
How's it going?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Long day of sitting and watching Hasbro PulseCon shenanigans. So,
Yep.
but it could be worse. There's worse things to spend a day doing.
There's worse things than watching streams about action figures that we want to add to our collections. Let's face it.
Yup. And unless you, well, I have no interest in magic, so that was kind of a lull. It's like, oh, okay, take a nap and then come back real quick and watch more stuff.
Nice. So. Yeah, that was cool. Did you pre-order the Starkiller set?
During the last weekly, I nearly talked myself into it right on camera, and I ended up not doing it. I saw the price, and I thought they have to release that Starkiller by himself. As much as I love the Stormtroopers, and I'll take all I can get, Hasbro's been killing me lately, so I need to kind of watch the wallet.
I hear you there. I passed on it myself for the same reason. It's like, I was saying earlier, like this month, and I've been collecting a while. Like this month is legitimately the most expensive collecting month I have ever been through. There was the Ghost HasLab. There was the Boba Fett's Throne Room play set. Walmart is shipping the Bad Batch Season 2 Black Series. The Retro Collection Return of the Jedi Wave 2 is about to process. The Vintage Collection Current Wave with Cad Bane is processing. The Jabba's Denizens from TVC is processing. There's like so much stuff, and I'm sure there's other things. The N1, like that's like it's just like ridiculous right now. So it's like I looked at it and I remember seeing it at GCC. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna order it. And then today I was sitting there like looking at it, that hour before they gave to Pulse Premium members. I was looking at it like, yeah, I think I'm gonna pass. And that's what I did.
As much as I want Starkiller, well, okay, it's been a little while since I've played those games, but I remember enjoying them. I remember going through them and stuff, but man, I couldn't do it. And I'm glad. I was about to say, I'm glad I don't do Vintage Collection, because I do. as much as I deny caring about the 3 3/4 inch, I'll look, when they're talking about it, I'm like, no, that's interesting, especially the Ghost and the HasLabs and everything. They nearly get me, but I stay strong for now.
Gotta stay strong. Yeah, I tell
Yeah,
myself
stay
that all
strong.
the time, and then I still end up being weak and buying whatever it is most of the time.
That's why I spend my money on other, some Star Wars, and then some Legends, and then some G.I. Joe, and then some. I got to spread it around to keep from buying new things. I don't know. That's my rationale.
Yeah, it's a thing. I always tell people, collection it's a living, breathing, evolving thing, right? It's growing. It's seldom shrinking, at least in my case. It's seldom
No.
shrinking. So it's kind of one of those things, you got to adapt with it, right? You got to make some hard choices sometimes, but
Yep.
hey, there's only so much space to put stuff. So
because I remember when Star Wars, when I jumped back in as an adult, back in mid to late 90s, it was Star Wars only. I'd look at other things, but no Star Wars. And then when Marvel came along, I stopped Star Wars. It was like, I can only collect one thing at a time, but that went out the window about a decade ago. So all this cool stuff, I will take all of it. So
yeah, it's definitely tough.
But
Well,
I have kicked the completist habit. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I've kicked the completist habit lately, especially the past couple of years. I can't get everything, so I'm just picking and choosing.
No, 100% me too. Like I used to be 100% completist on both Vintage Collection and Black Series years ago, a few years ago. I even bought that first wave of atrocious carbonized figures. And then, and then the first wave of credit collection, I picked those up.
Yep.
And I'm like, do I need them? Like, no, not really. So now I'm just kind of picking and choosing. There's still figures from Andor I haven't picked up. Like, I don't know if I will. There's just so much that I'm just trying to be a little more methodical with it. And I mean, realistically, I can never display everything. I just don't have the room to do that. So I have to end up like shuffling things out every now and then. But it's like, am I okay just displaying like, I'm looking over there, how many are there? I don't know, like 50 Black Series here. I'm okay just displaying my favorite of those, plus a little section for whatever the newest ones are that I pick up. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. Because I have a bunch of them that haven't been on display in years. Like I'm thinking of like the Force Awakens and, that era of Black Series. And older Darth Vaders. Like I just have no need to put those on the shelf anymore.
So you have a green room for your figures. Do you put them there and then decide if they go up into the display or to storage? Your newest ones.
The newest ones tend to sit in their boxes for weeks until I get around to opening them. And then once they do, I try to get everything on the shelf at least for a little bit. That way I can kind of make it more worth having added it to the collection.
Yep.
But that doesn't always happen, but I try to do that. And even if it's on the shelf for like a week, I'm like, okay, I just played it. It's been on the shelf and I can put something else there. Yeah, I'm trying to just play like what I like the most and what I really want to look at. And I'm trying to kind of clean through some of my older ones that I just have no need to display anymore. Like there's just like, do I need to like, I'm trying to think of what some of those characters were, like Constable Zuvio. Am I really going to put that on the shelf again at this point?
I ended up putting that on Mando shelf because I guess appeared there. What was it, first episode that they appeared? So purchase justified.
Yeah. Just certain ones. It's like I need to kind of sort through them. And I did just redo my Black Series shelf. So I put some of like the beasts, like the Tauntaun, the Wampa, like the Black Speeder bike. I put Ray's Speeder. Like some of that larger stuff I put in the back, and then I put figures in the front just to kind of see a little bit more of it, because some of that stuff had been in just like storage for a long time. And I'm like, I want to see some of this newer stuff.
Yeah. And you mentioned Andor. I loved Andor, but I see the figures and I think, no, wait for. In my head, I see them and I'm just like, oh, people in clothes. my same rationale for not getting too deep into the Indiana Jones line. But then I realized all of Star Wars is people in clothes. So I don't know why the Andor set, but then turn right around and want all the Ahsoka stuff, all of it. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I guess it just depends. Like some of the Andor stuff, like to me was just kind of, I mean, the show was amazing, right? But like the figures, like the designs weren't necessarily like mind blowing to me. Like I'm getting everything from Ahsoka in both scales. But I haven't gotten everything from Andor. Yeah, we'll see. I'm just trying to be more selective because,
that's
money
what it
is a
comes down
limited
to.
resource and everything is expensive these days, and it's just kind of hard to justify it sometimes. But do what you can. Do what you can. Ken, thank you very much for your super chat donation. Really appreciate you donating to Thyka. And then Peak Obi-Wan, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your generous donation and for your comment. Really appreciate you so much. So Robo, what do you say we talk a little bit about today's Black Series reveals?
As I was watching and screenshotting, for the front page of the site and getting all these pictures and stuff, and it was almost a relief that they only showed the two figures, from Black Series, or at least the two, new ones, and that made me like them even more. But at the same time, as I was watching Ahsoka over the past few weeks, I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait to get them in plastic form." I will gripe about the lightsaber color. That's my only gripe, I think.
Yeah, that's a bummer to me. And they did something. I mean, it's not too dissimilar when they did the dark side Rey from the Rise of Skywalker. Like in the movie, she has like the Kylo Ren blade, like it's like all erratic and crazy. But the figure had just a regular blade. And I asked him about that one time during a Q&A or something, and they were like, "Oh no, she has the one that she came with." I'm like, "No, she didn't." So like to me, it kind of feels like that. like she had, like he has it's clearly a red saber. Like, it's clearly red. So it's like, is it one of those things where they got the source like images and stuff too early and they had made that change? You see it and it looks like red, so it's probably red. Like, I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a little unfortunate that happened though.
Because they mentioned orange in the live stream today. They were like, "Oh, that orange reddish color that they have in the show," and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, "No, that's red. That's straight up red." But
I know it is. It's red. And why is it so long? Like the blade looks like almost as tall as he is.
Well, I think, and I got to go back and watch. I've only watched each episode one time, but remember when he's holding the hilt? It's almost like it's almost like twice as long as a regular hilt. So I'm thinking the blade is that long too, almost like a broadsword type situation. I'm not sure. I only noticed the hilt thing, not the blade size.
Yeah, could very well be. He does look pretty cool though. I think they did a nice job with the sculpt, coloring. He looks good.
Oh man, I don't want to come off as nitpicking, but Marok was a little light. I think this comes off a little dark, but and he may be slightly pale, but I got to throw those negatives out because it's just going to be like, but he's awesome. Look at the cloth and the clothing and everything else, the armor. Yeah, it all looks sweet.
Yeah, I definitely see that. It is kind of dark, like more like Sith-like, I would say. Overall,
yeah, almost when Anakin kind of turns dark side in that episode where he goes Sith eyes and it's almost a paleness to his skin. That's kind of what this looks like,
right? Yeah, they definitely gave him more of the Sith treatment, I would say. So there was him, and there was also the Black Series.
Shin all the way at the bottom.
Shin Hati. All the way at the bottom. So this one I've also seen some comments on online about some criticisms of this. So what were your thoughts when you saw this pictures of this one for the first time.
She seems a little clean. She in the show, she almost has a darkness around, she has the darkness that I think that Balin got. Because the way I'm reading the show is that she's following orders and she's listening and all that, but I feel like she has a motive, that she's there for something else, playing some kind of long game. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into the acting, but she seems bright compared to
Yes.
Skull. But
Yeah, she
I've seen
does.
comments about the hair and stuff, and that maybe a little bit of the part at the top, but no, I think it fits.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I do see that. She does look very clean. She's also got unfortunately, the red saber.
Mm-hmm.
It's close. I mean, I feel like generally like it looks good. I'll pull up a loose picture of it here. But I do see what people are saying about how the likeness maybe looks a little waxy or a little stiff. I mean, I don't think it looks terrible personally, but I mean, I guess I can kind of see what people are saying.
Maybe I get that. Oh, what's it reminding me of? Now that I'm looking closer, because I haven't sat and gazed. I haven't. It was right out of PulseCon into dinner, into compiling pictures, shooting the video for tomorrow and stuff. So it's reminding me of something else.
Yeah. There's a comment here from Greg. Greg is saying that. So I know Greg's kind of an expert on Shin Hati. So he's saying that it's the incorrect bone structure in the eyes. All right, Greg.
So essentially saying the likeness is off.
Yeah, I guess the likeness is off. I mean, I think it looks. I don't think it's terrible personally, but that's just, I don't know. To me, I don't think it's terrible. I mean, could it be better? Sure, but I mean that's usually the case for a lot of this stuff.
After so many years in, you start, even at the $24.99 price point, it's still a retail figure. It's still
Right.
It's not an import, which at this point, and Black Series is better than some of the imports. So, I mean, it's a back and forth. I keep seeing people say no cloaks. That means there's a 2-pack coming later on with the actual orange sabers and the capes. So,
right.
I don't know. We'll see.
What happened to the imports, by the way? Like Figure Arts and Mayfax, those guys aren't doing anything like along what they used to do years ago.
No, they'll just do main characters that they know will sell. Mando, I guess, is really where, and Boba Fett.
Mando, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I think they're doing Bo-Katan, right? Or I forget which one. Is it SHF?
Yep. Medicom's doing Bo.
Medicom, okay.
And,
yeah, but they used to be like all in. But I kind of feel like when Hasbro started catching up, like 2018 or so, when they started doing the photo reel and, kind of started like to really up their game, like we saw less and less come out from like the Bandai stuff and the Medicom stuff around that time frame.
And plus, for the longest time, it always seemed like Hasbro had to get their version out first. It's maybe they got, but that's total speculation. I don't know. It just always seemed like as soon as Hasbro released, then the import companies could announce theirs. And by then, it almost seemed too late, even if it was better quality half the time.
Right, right.
They just don't
And
play
this
the
one,
game anymore.
they would do like the prequel figures, like the Anakins and Padme and like Qui-Gon and like all those. Like, I don't know if they'll ever do those again, but it was a good time when they were doing some of those. And some of those are really cool. Like the AOTC Anakin, like that one was probably one of their best ones. Like just the likeness is just like top notch.
Yeah. And oh man, they had so many unreleased prototypes. Just the battle droids and the super battle droids and the Wicket and
Queen Amidala.
Padmes and Amidala and ah.
I know, such a bummer. But they also announced some archive lines, figures. Darth Vader is coming back, which I don't know why we need this Darth Vader yet again, but he will be available in the archive line. So
Internationally,
back.
Yeah.
There's that too.
It's weird they release this internationally and then announce a pipeline upgraded A New Hope Darth Vader directly afterwards. I'm assuming upgraded.
Yeah, did they announce any of this for Black Series too?
The Darth Vader.
The New Hope Vader.
Yeah. In fact, all four of the pipelines were just kind of, it seemed like they could be slight upgrades to existing figures.
Yeah, and that's something that they do sometimes do with these is like, I feel like a lot of them don't make sense. Like, it was kind of weird getting Lando like in his Skiff Guard outfit. Like, some of them just are kind of strange, like for archive. Like,
yeah,
they're not really like the most in-demand figures. But they usually do add slight tweaks to them to make them a little more desirable than the original releases.
Yeah, and well, I guess they could do the butterfly for A New Hope, right? Is that still using the older body, the
Yeah, probably
the middle body, whichever Vader it is.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Vaders for the most part that Black Series has done, but I feel like they still haven't done like a definitive like 2023, let's say level of Darth Vader that they could possibly do. Like, I think there's room to make an all new one at this point, but we'll see.
Did the Obi-Wan series was that the latest one?
Yeah, and that was basically just like the same one again, right? The Empire Strikes Back and New Hope Vader.
Yeah. And that's another one Figure Arts has coming, right? Is Darth Vader.
Oh, do they? I missed that.
Yeah, he's got a swappable head, one with the slice in it, and then one unsliced.
Oh, okay. That I might pick up. All right.
Yeah. I may have to grab it. It went pretty quick.
Just want to shout out real quick. Super chat here, generous super chat from Ben Swola Collector 95. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Appreciate your comment. Glad that your mother is doing better, and just a generous donation. Really appreciate you, and we will put that into the of donations. So thank you very much, Ben Swola Collector. Really, really awesome of you. Bo-Katan. Did they say anything was going to be different about the archive Bo-Katan?
Not that I know of. Are the browns different?
Maybe
I don't know. I think that
darker?
was I think that was my only problem with the first figure, wasn't it? The hair and the belts matched, but it was now I can't even remember. She's on the shelf. But no, they didn't say anything. This was kind of a quick run through of, this is international, not in the US. We don't want to clog the pegs.
It would be nice if they at least did like the longer hair for season 3. Just just change it a little bit.
Did they talk about, is Vintage Collection going to swappable heads for helmets?
They said that it would still be case by case basis, but they said for Sabine, like the next one they do, that one would have an interchangeable helmet.
Gotcha. See, I think that's the way to go. That when the helmets get too big, like here in the Bad Batch.
Yeah, like I'm sure you've seen that TVC Deluxe Sabine, like how big the helmet is on that thing. It's just.
Oh, really? No, I guess I missed that.
I haven't opened mine yet, but it's pretty bad.
Plus, to get the helmets over the heads, they got to give them helmet hair. So it's like a double-edged sword. At that point, you might as well just make a socket inside the helmet and make them swappable.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of odd. let's see. So what else did they put in here in archive? Okay, so Luke Skywalker. He was already in archive in this outfit, I believe.
I think
So I guess
so.
they're bringing him back for the international release, I guess, though. So, I mean,
But
probably the same figure overall, right? I mean, his flight suit in this picture, at least, I know maybe this is just a render; it's not final, but the suit looks a little darker than I remember it.
but it's the same sculpt, isn't it? I mean,
Yes,
and I'm just now realizing, isn't that's a 10-year-old figure?
it is.
Wave one, right? Was
Yep.
dang, man. I remember running around the floor at San Diego Comic-Con because one dealer was getting this wave, and it was the first 6-inch Star Wars figures, and had to have them.
I know. I remember being overjoyed going into Target and finding him and R2D2 and Darth Maul and the Sand Trooper and be like, oh, 6-inch Star Wars figures.
Man, that was a lifetime ago at this point.
That was a long time. I reviewed those on the channel back then. Like, that was a long time ago.
Dang. So yeah, that's nostalgic, but you're right, because they've upgraded the face since then, so it had to be an archive.
Yeah. So it'll have the photo reel. It'll, slight tweaks there. And I think the last one is Stormtrooper. So this is the
Oh yeah,
same one.
Stormtrooper.
Yeah, so this is the same Stormtrooper, the second version that they did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the newer
which I really like.
Yeah, me too. I know some people have a problem with the thinness or the knees, but I think it moves much more fluid than the original Stormtrooper. Not as much range, but it seems more mobile.
Yes, definitely.
And proportionate. It's it's late.
Yeah, it's it's cool. I think this is troopers like this are always like good to have online. And I don't know how much the original release of the saturated internationally, but it'll be. I'm sure those folks won't mind having more Stormtroopers. Like, to me, that's like a smart repack, so that makes sense to bring back again.
It looks good against that gray background too. Makes it look even brighter, wider.
Yeah, it does. Looks good. I think that covers it there. I want to say.
I think that's everything except the
role play stuff. Are you getting the? Are you into the helmets at all, or the lightsabers?
I like to say I'm not. I don't really get into the lightsabers, and I don't actively collect the helmets, but I have 4. I have a few. I have a couple of Stormtrooper Shadow and the red marking Stormtrooper, and then I have a Boba Fett repaint. But this is tempting. This is really tempting.
Yeah, this is cool. Like, I don't have them on myself, but I do like to dabble in the helmets and the role play stuff. But yeah, this is a cool one. I mean, this is for sure going to be like one that it's going to be hard to not have. So,
they did such a good job on the making the welds look like welds, the burn around it and the beads and stuff.
Yeah, they did do a good job there. Like, yeah, it looks really good. I hope the final product looks just as good, because that's going to be one to get for sure, for me anyway. Let's see what else here. So there was that, and then there was, I think the last thing was the lightsaber, right? I believe.
Is it Sabine's?
Sabine's lightsaber. So have you collected any of the Force Effects sabers?
Not any of the Force Effects. I think I have an Obi-Wan, but it was before it was Force Effects, something, an older version.
Yeah, before they started doing the Elite stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I know like Disney, they do their own sabers too, and they just did this one recently. But I think overall the Black Series stuff tends to, I would say that the sabers anyway are a little better than what Disney puts out in terms of the quality overall. But yeah, I mean, it's neat. I think these are great. I mean, there's better technology than what Disney or Hasbro are using, like out there. There's NeoPixel sabers that are like light years beyond these, but these are great if you just want to have like the character hilt, especially, and have that on the shelf or something. Really great display ability, just like the helmets.
Something you're not worried about breaking, or well, I think those high dollar sabers are pretty durable, but this still skews into toy realm a little bit, and I like that about them.
Yeah, it's nice. That's nice. I don't know if I'll pick that up yet, but I would like to have the hilt. So.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. As I always say, when you're live, anything can and does happen.
Yeah.
You can get booted from your own stream, apparently. So there's that.
One time I was streaming and my power went out, and Dave just had to keep going. He couldn't shut it off. He couldn't do anything. So.
Yeah, I had something like this happen last week, actually, too, when I was on here. I forgot what it was that everybody was saying. I went to the world between worlds.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like that in a way.
Just found you later. I heard lightsabers in the distance.
Heard lightsabers and money being spent. Both of those.
Yeah. Now, going back to did I miss it? I know it should be common knowledge, I'm sure, but Sabine's lightsaber is that Ezra's? From the
with some modifications that she made onto it.
Okay. I've gotten to where I just watch the show and then don't deep dive, because if I deep dive, I run into comments and I'd rather not. So it's just kind of like I just take the show for what it is. But I don't remember them actually saying that, or did they? They did?
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Okay. Because
there was a comment in the show, though. No, there was a comment in Ahsoka where, like, I think Hu Yang said something like that she modified it or added something or other like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
yeah.
It's been past our time slot by a little bit.
Sorry.
It's hard to only talk toys within such a short amount of time. I could keep talking toys for a longer time, but we want to honor your time as well. Any last thoughts you have, Robo, that you want to mention about Hasbro PulseCon or anything else collecting related?
No, getting the two today just makes me want more from the show, especially after the last episode. So I mean, that's just a action figure gold mine.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize one of the mothers was Aaron from Farscape until I saw that later, and then I went back and just watched that clip. I was like, that's her voice. Why didn't I even hear that when the first time around? But yeah, I need action figures of everybody and everything from the last episode.
100%. Like I anything from Ahsoka, I've already said anything from Ahsoka, they make any figures. I don't care if it's Black Series or TVC or even Hot Toys. Like, I'm picking it up. I'm just like, I'm enjoying it too much to sleep on any of that stuff. So I'm all here for it, and just keep bringing it. We want more.
Yeah, which is crazy because, again, we talked a bit ago about Andor. Loved it, but I feel like it's two different versions of Star Wars. I love both, but when it comes to toys, I like the space wizards and that kind of stuff instead of the political intrigue. I'll watch both and love it, but when I want to play with lightsaber wielders and crazy witches and stuff.
Totally. Yeah, no, I feel that as well. Like that's those are the Star Wars toys I like. Anything like that, anything mystical, anything, fun, anything just like purely Star Wars, that's what I want more toys of. So keep bringing it, you guys. Keep bringing it, Hasbro and everybody else. We'll keep buying it.
Yo, they know the way to my heart.
All right. Well, cool, Robo. Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate you being here with us this evening.
No, thank you.
Yeah, Yeah, of course. And maybe we can connect again in the future for a full episode of Social Hour.
Yep. It's been kind of hard lately, but yeah, we'll have to coordinate.
Right on, right on. Well, thank you again, and have a great night. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, cool. And I see another super chat here from Jan. Jan, thank you very much for your donation. Really appreciate that. You guys, it's been so fun. How did our 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours now go by so quickly? It's wild. It's really, really wild. Really appreciate you guys being here though and hanging out with us this whole time. And just being here for a good time, like we all are, just talking Star Wars, talking Ahsoka, talking toys, talking collectibles, but also, raising funds for an important cause. So, really appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here this evening. Thanks to all of our guests. Really appreciate all of our guests that have been here with us tonight. Thanks to John Miko from SW, the Vintage Collection Facebook group. Thanks to Brad from the Jurassic Park podcast. Thanks to from the Boba Fett Fan Club. Huge thanks to Dan O from the Dan O channel. Thanks to Ken Plume. Thanks to Robo from the Foosh. And really appreciate all of them. Be sure that you are checking them out online if you're not already following them on their socials and on their channels and podcasts and so forth. And yeah, it's been great, you guys. And I just want to give a look here before we end. If you have any last questions you want to ask, go ahead and throw them here in the comments, and we'll take a look. While we're doing that, I do want to take a look and see how our night has gone. So wow, you guys, this is really cool. I'm overwhelmed. Like, the donations tonight have been amazing. Thank you guys for donating to us tonight. And I'm not, I may be a teacher, but I'm not a math person, so I'm just telling these up. So thanks again to Britt. Really appreciate your donation there. A huge thanks to Kayla for her donation. Greatly appreciate that. Paul, thank you so much, Paul. We really appreciate you being here with us every week. Chelsea, thank you so much for your generous donation. Greg, thank you once again for yours. Very kind, very sweet. Dave, thank you so much. We really appreciate you donating to the cause. Brad, thank you as well so much once again for the super sticker. Really appreciate that there. Mary, a huge thank you to you once again for your very generous donation. Really, really appreciate that. Tom, thank you so much for your donation and for being part of what we do here on VC. Dan, thank you so much. Really appreciate you and all you do on YouTube. And yeah, go check out Dan's channel. Adam, thank you as well so much for your donation to the cause. Alex, really appreciate you. Thanks for being here every week as well. Fetmatic, thank you so much. And I'm glad that you agree that Fet is dope. Ken, we really appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for coming on. Generous donation from Pico B1. Thank you, Pico B1. I really appreciate you. And thanks, a huge thanks again to Ben Solo Collector 95 for your $100 donation. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And then Jan as well. Thank you very much. So in total, you guys, because like I said, I got to add them up here. I'm not a math person. In total, we're at $482.78. You guys are awesome. That is remarkable. All of this, 100% of this, 100% of the proceeds from the monetization of this video once it gets published for everybody else to watch, and then 100% of anything we sell in the merch store. Remember, we got some fun designs in the merch store. We got some new stuff. We got the VC 10th anniversary logo. We got the Me banner inspired by the vintage Star Wars Kenner line. We've got from Out of Space, Victoria's Cantina. We got all that stuff because it's all relevant to what we do. The Vintage Collection Podcast, any of that stuff and more is available in the spring store. There's a link down below if you want to pick up a shirt, pick up anything that we have. We also got coffee cups. We got pint glasses. We've got a bag. I think we have a backpack now. All kinds of stuff. So if you're so inclined, give it a look. And Yeah, thank you guys so much. Again, you can donate again directly to thicat.com. They're doing great things for pediatric thyroid cancer research, really important cause. Remember that this is September, which is Thyroid Cancer Awareness Month, which was why this was a perfect time to do this. Really appreciate everybody who's been with us, especially if you've been here through the whole stream. Thank you very much. Thanks for supporting VC, and thanks for being here and for hanging out and for contributing to our positive collecting community in our positive Star Wars discussions. We really appreciate that very, very much. And now for the next couple of weeks, I will be off. I'm actually going to be in Japan. So I'm going to be traveling for the next couple of weeks. So no Cantina Social Hour. However, I will be filming a little documentary while I'm there visiting toy stores and talking to people and stuff. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming, in the next month or so. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And I may do some Instagram lives. If you're following me on Instagram, I may do some Instagram lives from Japan as I'm doing various things that I do. So come hit me up there. I know the time difference might be a factor because overseas and all that. But yeah, I did ask for questions, so let's see what last questions we had here. And comments. Chelsea, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Tom. Really appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you, Alex. Definitely smash the like button, stomp on the like button, slap the like button. Anything you want to do to hit that like button would be okay. Britt, thank you for being here with us the entire time. Thank you, John. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Pico B1. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your comment. Thank you. I'm grateful too. And thank you, Adam. Appreciate that as well. Greg, thank you very much. Thanks for hanging out with us. Ken, thank you, and thanks again for coming on the show. Pico B1, are you going to just play your place over the weekend? My job is palace. Yes, I'm almost done. Well, like halfway done. I'm like halfway done. I'm gonna, like in a little while, probably I'm gonna finish putting the aliens in there because I really want to get that done. Mary, thank you again. Really appreciate you very much. You're awesome, and I really appreciate you being on the show with us. Thank you. I appreciate your comment. Thank you. I definitely will enjoy being away. So that means we'll be back in 3 weeks. I'm already scheduling guests. I'm already scheduling people to other fans, collectors, content creators to be on Social Hour in the coming next couple months. So yeah, no matter where you're listening and tuning in from out in the galaxy, as always, I want to thank you for listening, watching, hanging out, chatting, enjoying all that stuff to Cantina Social Hour. Thanks again for your donations. Let's keep championing, good causes and trying to eradicate, these awful diseases from the face of the earth. So really appreciate you guys. And yeah, we'll talk soon. I got some stuff coming for the Cantina in addition to Social Hour. The collection video coming soon next month. You're going to see it. You're going to see it, the entire collection in a video for the first time ever in 10 years. It's going to happen. Plus some other stuff that I am diligently working on behind the scenes. Thank you guys very much. Be well, be safe. Have a great weekend. I will see you in a few weeks. And thanks again for hanging out with us for this thyroid cancer awareness fundraiser on Cantina Social Hour. I will catch you next time. Take care, guys. May the force be with you.